Welcome to episode number 20 of the CoinSec podcast. On this week, we discuss the epic remote code execution vulnerability that was found in EOS, and how much would it cost to perform a 51% attack against a given cryptocurrency. Two banks were blackmailed for XRP, and Electroneum is having some block issues. All that and more on episode number 20 of the CoinSec podcast.
You want to secure your assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably secure.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec podcast. The CoinSec podcast is a podcast about cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies with a focus on securing them. Don't let the hum of our dual-purpose crypto miners / password crackers in the background disrupt your listening pleasure. This week, you've got me, Bo Bullock. You've also got all of us. We're here again. It's awesome.
Yay!
Mike Felch is here. Steve Borsch is here. Ralph May is here. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Hey!
I figured I'd kind of just knock that one out quick this week. I mean,
Bam, bam, bam.
yeah. And I just wanted to make you guys kind of sit on the edge of your seats a little bit. I didn't know what would happen, calling everyone's name out at the same time, but it actually was okay.
We just went with it, man. That's good.
So how you guys doing, man?
I'm having a minor freak out right now while I try to patch my Electroneum pool.
Oh man.
Oh man, we're gonna have to talk about that.
Yes. Mike and Ralph, what's going on, guys?
What's up? Just raced home, passed by a state trooper going too fast. Wife thought I was going to get pulled over. Turns out it was okay, and I made it in time.
The thing you just got to watch out for is that stop sign, man. You know the stop sign I'm talking about.
Yes, I had like a $250 date night because I got pulled over for running that stop sign.
Yeah, you can't roll through that one, man, dude.
Yeah, we have a stop sign right between Bo's house and my house. It's literally right in the middle, and law enforcement sit right there because people like me run that stop sign every single day.
You do what they call the Philly roll.
Yeah, I guess I don't stop if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm sad. What that means? I'm sad though because I've had to cancel the plans for getting a golf cart because now the person that I wanted to actually drive my golf cart over to go see is leaving.
Oh, guilt trip.
Oh,
guilt trip.
Oh, here we go. Every episode.
Two tears.
Okay. Yes. It is sad. It is sad.
This is where we need a soundboard.
I was talking to John Strand earlier yesterday, and we were just talking about the move, and he's like, "So you ready for it?" I'm like, "No, I'm leaving Bo."
Aw, how cute, guys.
I know. So, anyone doing any fun pen testy stuff this week? Just trying to change it up a little bit.
Pen testy stuff. I'm on boring stuff, just PCI.
I'm on super fun stuff. Yeah,
Is it all web app?
It is web app, but
I knew it.
but
Okay, go ahead.
But some really cool vulnerabilities, just really cool. Tricked an application into fetching internal stuff on a server-side request forgery. Another one, remote code execution via web application. And what was the third one? There was a third one. I forget now. The third one was something. Oh, SQL injection, but wasn't really a SQL injection because the entire select query was passed as a parameter to the server, and all I had to do was modify the select statement, the from clause, and it just gave me all the data. So
brutal.
Beautiful.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had an interesting couple of weeks here. So I'm actually working on a cryptocurrency wallet, mobile wallet, which I can't really talk about it too much. But it's fun doing
like you're pen testing.
I am pen testing a cryptocurrency mobile wallet.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's basically like a mobile app assessment for the most part. a little bit of API involved, but yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, it's like if you were to take like your typical like let's say you took like any of the popular wallet apps that are out there, and were to try to go to town on them. That's what I'm doing, and yeah, it's been a fun experience so far.
You found some cool stuff too, but we can't talk about that.
Yeah, can't talk
But
about
you
it.
did find some cool stuff.
Yeah, there was some
That's cool.
stuff
Yeah,
there.
I've got some friends that have been doing that on like HackerOne. I think Dash or somebody had a bounty program for their wallet, and he found some stuff and got a bounty for it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, one thing we could possibly talk about, I think, Mike, is the thing we were talking about earlier with the 2FA tokens and the randomness. Yeah. So, traditionally when you go to like log into like an application and you're using two-factor, right? And let's say you're using like Google Authenticator. Usually you type your username password in, and then it asks you for the 2FA token, right? And in those cases, if you were to try to, let's say, brute force that token, you would probably like block the account out or something, or alert the user in some manner. But the thing that I was looking at today was like, so after authentication, right? Like, so after you have a session, after you have a token, for the specific wallet, it used the second factor as like a means of withdrawing or sending currency. And that specific post request, all it was doing was including the two-factor token and like a parameter of the URL. So the thing that I was trying to run by Mike is that like, so you weren't going to lock out a user. I literally could have sat there and just brute forced 6-digit pins like all day long. But there's a couple things you got to worry about, right? Because the pin changes, or the six-digit number changes every 30 seconds. So what are the chances that you would get, it's like 1 in a million, right? For every 30 seconds, right? That you would hit it. But if you're, let's say, just randomly spraying 6-digit numbers, would you, like how long would it take for you to get lucky enough to land on one of those is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, so you take 1 million permutations, right? Because you got 0 to 9 for all 6 digits. So you basically got 1 million. You do, if you did 50 a second, right, as what we were looking at originally, just 50 a second, it would take a really long time. But let's say that you amplified it and you were using Amazon API or something and doing 1,000 per second. 1 million divided by 1,000 is going to be 1,000. Divide that by 60, which would mean per minute, and now you're looking at about 16 minutes to go through all permutations. But what Bo was doing, or was thinking, was, what if we just let this randomly generate regularly? Yeah, obviously, the likelihood of hitting one is still going to be fairly slim, but you still got that possibility of hitting one.
To help like drive this whole thing forward was like, if you did hit one, like I could all right. So if I had access to the app, right? If I had access to somebody's phone, I could get their token, so be authenticated to the app. I could figure out how much currency they have in their wallet, and then if I can guess that two-factor token, I could transfer all of it out. And this, the other thing, like the other problem with this was this two-factor is not a mandatory thing. So, a user would have to install it first, or enable it first of all. But if they did enable it, the thing that I was trying to get at is that you could figure out how much currency they have in their wallet and just basically like just brute force that pin and then transfer all of it out of their wallet.
With one shot. So you only have to be right one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's nothing locking you out, nothing blocking you out of the app.
Yeah, I can see when that happens, they're going to be like, oh, we got to add a couple more digits.
Yeah. Make it change every 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I guess it's going to be every 10 seconds now. Could you imagine on your phone? You're just like, shoot, God darn it.
So that actually brings up an interesting point. So, I mean, like with something like Google Authenticator, it's always 6 digits and it's always 30 seconds. So what would they have to do? Like go to like a custom implementation or something?
Turn it into hex and also add A through F.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I mean, that could definitely increase the security without adding a bunch more digits.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely would work.
We're coming full circle on the generation of creating computers.
Just where our
Sorry.
audience wanted us to go.
All right, cool.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the state of the market. Honestly, this week has not changed a whole lot from last week. We are only down about $6 billion this week. Yay!
Yay. It keeps teasing its way back every now and then, and I get a little excited, and then it's like, yay, aw. Yay, aw.
Yeah, Bitcoin's only down
right now.
Yeah. Well, Bitcoin's only down about like $50 from last week. Ethereum is only down about $20 from last week. So I guess I should probably say the actual numbers, right? So Bitcoin is at $7,532. Ethereum is at $579, and Ripple is at 61 cents. And also, for those who are listening, we are recording this on May 31st of 2018. So those numbers haven't really changed a whole lot. I mean, Ripple's only down 2 cents from last week.
So Bo, we never talk about this, but where do you think it's going to go next week? Like, if we have like a prediction, and then you could be like almost McAfee after a while here. So we're going to get this going.
So, all right. So here's my prediction:
all right, go ahead.
This is the closest to equilibrium we've had, or the same amount of market cap from week to week, and like I would say like pretty much most of the year. I mean, we had maybe 1 or 2 weeks where we were up, but we've seen kind of a steady downturn, for the most part. So I'm going to predict higher next week. I'm going to go with 350. I'm going to go with $350 billion next week. Overall market cap. Bitcoin is going to be at 7,800 or 7,900.
So you're saying if I bought one today, I should make $200 next week? That's what you're trying to tell me.
$400 because it's at 75.32 right now.
Oh, okay. All right, nice. Yeah. $400, man. All I got to spend is $7,500.
I'm not a financial advisor. Do not take my financial advice to go and buy your own stuff. Please just to do your own due diligence on that fact. I'm thinking it's going to go up next week. I'm going to be an optimist about this. Sadly, I'm going to be kind of AFK next week for the most part.
Well, at least we'll bring it up though next week. We'll talk about it. We'll be like, hey, Bo's right. You should probably start, doing everything he says. So, or we could be like, don't do anything Bo says. He was totally wrong. So it could go both ways for you, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't want to be the next John McAfee.
Oh, come on, man. Your tweets would be worth so much
money. Have you seen the epic kite he was flying recently?
Oh, yeah. He had that thing like half a mile up.
Yeah. And literally half a mile in the sky.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a new currency coming out or something?
Yeah, McAfee coin.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got, and there's like a.
Didn't you guys buy into the ICO?
Yeah. No, every dollar I had, actually, I sold my car. I now
sold the Lambo.
I sold the Lambo. Yeah, I sold the Lambo. I had a custom Bitcoin license plate, and now I got McAfee coin. I'm gonna kill it this year.
It's like HOLD BTC.
Yeah, pretty much.
Something like that.
That was license plate. It was vanity. I had to pay extra for it, but it's okay. It's a Lambo. Well, you do the same.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you have to. It's mandatory.
Mandatory.
He literally created currency paper.
Hold on. Cryptocurrency paper.
McAfee redemption unit, and he has his big head on it.
Oh yeah,
stuff, man. That's epic, dude. And you know what? This is going to be successful. I guarantee it, because he will make it successful, and he won't stop until it is successful, even if it costs him everything. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Wait, he's not on every one. Dude, oh my gosh, have you seen the pictures from
Yes.
Oh my god, like the $1 bill is him snorting cocaine with the $5
snorting cocaine, really?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the music video, like the McAfee music video?
No.
Oh, dude, it's epic. Like that's a must see for you. Yeah, you got to see that one.
All right, I'll get into it.
Yeah, so the $5 has his face on it. The $10 has the Binance guy. 50 has Roger Ver on it.
So
Who is the 20?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Can't tell who the 20 is.
The 100 has him without a shirt on.
Yep, and the 500 is him and his wife.
So is it $500? Like I'm
500
I'm
McAfee coins, probably.
Okay, all right.
I would.
Well, you
I
just
would
kept
bet.
saying dollars. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just
sorry, not dollars. Yeah,
it's all good.
No, we have the proper terminology here. You're right.
Well, yeah. Well, I've got a lot of them, I guess. I mean, what's a Lambo worth in McAfee coin? So
In McAfee, we trust.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, the world is crazy.
Yes, it is. But it's entertaining, at least.
Yeah.
There's seriously like not really a dull moment in the cryptocurrency world. I mean, between all like the hacks and stuff that happen, and McAfee and like all the traders, and just I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things that go on here. All right, so I guess we should get to the news for the week. What do you think, guys?
Let's do it.
All right, so there was a fairly epic news story this week that I think will probably be the most important thing we talk about of the night. So the cryptocurrency EOS, had a fairly epic vulnerability discovered that was a remote code execution flaw that it would allow remote hackers to take complete control over the node servers running the critical blockchain-based applications. So EOS is an open source smart contract platform, and it's like so similar to like Ethereum, where it allows you to like build decentralized apps on top of it. And this Chinese security firm found a buffer out of bounds right issue that resides in the function used by node servers to parse contracts. And so Steve is going to now present about WASMs.
Yes, I am now the resident expert on WASMs. So WASMs are basically web assembly, and they're executable. So it actually looks like you do this text format, and it looks like a programming language, and then you compile that into WASM. And what these guys were doing was taking that WASM and basically embedding it into a smart contract. And then when the node parses the smart contract, it executes the WASM code. And so, I mean, code execution, you can do whatever you want, I guess. And then all those nodes probably have hot wallets running. I'm sure somebody could have drained those, as well as just taking control of the server itself.
So
all
question, and this is something that any of you guys can probably answer this, but I am not as familiar with like the whole uploading of a smart contract or like pushing it process. So when they talk about like uploading a malicious WASM, which is it's smart contract, right? Uploading a smart contract to a server. What is that? What server is that actually being uploaded to? I mean, I get like with like Ethereum smart contracts, and you push it right to the Ethereum virtual machine, correct?
What do you mean?
So like if I were to write a smart contract in Ethereum, it gets pushed to the like Ethereum virtual machine. Is that accurate?
So there's different networks that Ethereum runs on, right? So they make so there are different nodes, and so like there's the Ropsten network if you wanted to run tests, right? So when you're deploying it to that network, and so there's nodes that are sitting there that receive those transactions.
Right.
And so yes, to your point, in the same case, I'm guessing is how, because I don't know a lot about this EOS, but from what I gathered, it's the same concept, right? So they're they're pushing their contracts to the node, the EOS node, and then the server's taking that parsing the contract. And in that case, it's basically a stream of bytes, right? So as far as Ethereum goes, I'm guessing EOS is the same. You're sending a stream of bytes which represent the contract data. It's the byte code, right? It's the compiled smart contract as bytecode, and then it interprets that, it parses it, interprets it, and then does its magic with that. But so it looks like this group, this 360 from China group, they're security researchers. They've been looking at the actual nodes and how they're processing what they're receiving, and so the out-of-bound attack is basically like what Steve was saying. It's interpreting the WASM. I have no idea what that means as far as the content of what WASM is, but from a concept perspective, it's taking it, and then they have an out-of-bound write primitive on that, which overwrites into the memory buffer of that instance. And then they did some magic, obvious shellcode stuff to bypass what they needed to in order to get code execution. And then now they have read-write on that process, and then it just basically popped a reverse shell and then connected back to the attacker. So they're basically exploiting the EOS node that receives the smart contract, which I think is...
Yeah, so the thing that I'm wondering about is like, so is it like a direct, like I'm uploading the smart contract to a specific node, and then like it's like a targeted compromise at that point, or is it more like a like Cobalt Strike, like Hail Mary, like I'm just gonna upload this shit and it's gonna like parse out to every node and I'm gonna get raining shells, like it's gonna like all the nodes are gonna give me shells?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if Steve knows the answer to that. I definitely don't know whether it's
the way I'm reading it is they did it on their private blockchain.
Okay.
But the way that it reads is that the malicious contract is first parsed by the supernode. So I'm guessing that that contract then spreads or is parsed on all of the
so
the
rains
nodes.
shells. It just rains shells.
Yeah, because I remember reading that you would basically pop them on every node when you did this. So yeah, I think that would.
Oh man, can you imagine that?
Yes, that'd be crazy. So imagine that being like, imagine if it was Ethereum and pushing that and finding a vulnerability, and then everybody that has a node set up just reverse shelling back to you.
Yeah.
Right. So what they also said that they could do then, and this is their write-up on blogs.360.cn. We'll have a link for this in our blog, but basically that you can also, and instead of just taking over one node, that you can pack the malicious contract into a new block and then publish the block. When the block publishes, all the full nodes on the entire network would be controlled by you.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's how they were doing the full node takeover.
Complete annihilation of a cryptocurrency.
All right.
So this is the kind of thing that I wonder, like what other major cryptocurrencies have something like this, like this is one of those things. It's like a, like if the wrong person found this, or, like a malicious person actually found this, like they could have ended that cryptocurrency, couldn't they?
Right. Well, yeah, sure. I would think so. And that's what I was going to say, is that I think it's really cool that it wasn't a malicious person that found this, that there's actually security companies that are looking at this stuff. And I don't even know if they get like any kind of award or anything like that for doing this, or if they're not getting paid. This is just off, on their own time research. So
yeah, and I feel like
he's probably chewing up their own hours.
Yeah, we should definitely mention their name too. I'm probably going to butcher it. It's Qihu 360 or Kaihu with QIHOO 360.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's an awesome job for sure, finding this and then reporting it and then getting it fixed. And then what's funny is like I'm pretty sure the day after this article came out, or the day that it did come out, EOS posted a tweet reporting or like announcing a thing. Let me find it real quick because it was actually interesting. They tweeted. Sorry. Yeah. So. Oh man. Give me 1 second. Sorry. They announced
No,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, if you got it, go ahead. I'll say this after.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the developers posted. He said, "Help us find critical bugs in EOS before our 1.0 release. $10,000 for every unique bug that can cause a crash, privilege escalation, or non-deterministic behavior in smart contracts. Offer subjects to change, ID required, validity, but pretty sure they came out the day that story came out. So like they were like, oh wow, yeah. So we might actually need some security people to look at our shit.
Yeah,
We're willing to pay for it.
Oh, Daniel Lammert or
yeah.
Lammert?
Yep.
Yeah, so he did BitShares.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the BitShares guy, yeah, he did EOS and he did something else too, right?
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff.
He's done
Yeah, so he's
currency.
yeah, he's not new to this at all. To the space at least, but yeah, pretty smart guy.
He's the guy that he kind of builds the currencies up and then like passes them off and then moves on to his next project.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It's kind of like I think like building a startup and making it successful, passing it off to like Google or Microsoft. Like BitShares was, I think Microsoft bought BitShares, right?
I don't know about that. I mean, that could be true. But I mean, you got to think about it. He's starting these, decentralized companies. So like, him leaving, normally there's still people there, right? It's not like, there's only one person driving the ship. That's kind of how these organizations work. So even when he goes away, other people are like, oh, I'll take the reins here, for whatever it is. Right. So, but yeah, I didn't realize that he was part of the EOS project. So anyways.
And now Ralph is an investor.
Yep. Now, I'm buying some right now.
Yeah. So this makes me want to look at some of the node stuff on Ethereum. I mean, obviously, Ethereum has been around for a while, and they've probably had their share of research done already, and that might be why EOS was looked at and not some of the other ones that are pretty popular. I mean, I don't know why, but I think that'd be interesting to kind of dig into a little bit.
So EOS is fairly popular. I mean, they're the number 5 cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
There was a market cap. I mean,
okay.
They're up there. Like, so you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, and then EOS.
Okay, so they are big. I guess I'm just not on my radar, so I just assume they're not on everybody else's radar, which is pretty stupid.
I can't get tokens restricted in my region. Darn it.
Say what?
It's the tokens. I can't get them. They said restricted in my region. Hold on. VPN. I mean, no, I wouldn't do that.
Just move to like Ukraine.
Yeah, no, I could move.
Yeah, then you can invest in all of the ICOs.
That's a good startup. I mean, you know what? Just move there and then be like a broker for people.
Broker.
Yes. For people that want to invest in an ICO in America. Or is that like illegal or something? Okay, that's another bad idea. I don't do that.
Yeah, we've already done our bad ideas. We'll do that like next week or something.
Yeah, I remember seeing something. Wasn't it Ukraine where some guy got black bagged who was like the cryptocurrency, like, I don't know, maker or something? I don't know, some guy high up on some cryptocurrency.
Sounds
got
accurate.
Black bagged there. Yeah, so you run that risk.
I have a personal security detail.
Just like John McAfee.
Yeah?
You joke, but the last company that I worked for, our executive staff used to travel to Bulgaria on a regular basis, and they would pay for extraction insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, Steve, what the hell is going on with Electroneum, man?
I am at 61% building the patched version for my pool.
So why are you patching? Let's back up a little bit.
We had to patch because we've been waiting for. I'll kind of go backwards on this. So I've been found out about an hour ago that there was a patch for Electroneum, which recently kind of forked or quote unquote upgraded. In doing so, They did this partially because of ASIC resistance they implemented into there, and ASICs had pumped up the hash rate so high and the difficulty that once the upgrade happened and they switched from Kryptonite to Kryptonite V7, it's basically lagging now. So it's looking like in order, I think it was like 750 blocks have to be broken in the Monero. I'm remembering back to Monero code, which Electroneum was forked from.
Mm-hmm.
So like 750 blocks. A friend of mine told me that Monero has to validate before it adjusts the difficulty. So I think Electroneum would be the same. I don't remember them changing anything like that in the code. I could be wrong, but I think that still holds true. So with the difficulty so high and the upgrade happening, now we're just sitting here waiting. Like the GPUs can't churn enough blocks or enough power to be where the ASICs were. So now that the ASICs are gone, there's like this huge void of power. So now we've been sitting on. They finally popped the block. I'm looking at the.
So how long does it take for the difficulty to change, though, so that GPUs can actually be successful?
Yeah, how many blocks is it?
So the GPUs can be successful? Well, we're not quite sure. So over the last basically day and 13 hours, 2 blocks have been found.
Oh my god!
On the entire network.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned yesterday. You were like, yeah, it's been 6 hours or something since the block.
Yeah, so it's looking like it's maybe about a day a block right now because there was one found.
Insane.
13, a little over 13 hours ago, and then one 6 hours ago. So maybe about not a day, but.
What's it supposed to be, like a couple minutes? What's the
yeah, it's
what's
a
the block
2 minute.
time?
I think it's a 2 minute block time.
Oh yeah, well, love it.
So yeah, who knows how long this is going to take now? It could be a month before the Electroneum network's back running smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I thought there was like a mathematical way to calculate how long the difficulty actually changes, because like I'm looking at like Bitcoin's difficulty rate, and it looks like it changes about like every 13 to 14 days or so.
Well, that's based on probably how many blocks are found, not days. So yeah. So, and since Electroneum was forked from Monero, I believe it still holds the same block time. So 750. The difficulty right now is it's off the charts, and the hash rate isn't even anywhere near the difficulty level. It'll probably be at least a couple weeks to a month before the network's running smoothly again.
What did that patch do for you then?
Let's see. The patch
cleared out the transaction pool. I already looked at the GitHub commit.
Yeah, because I noticed my pool, or the daemon kept saying that even though it was running, it kept saying that it thought there was like a different version running on the network.
Yeah, it's checking for anything greater than version 6 now, and then it adds some sort of memory pool cleanup thing.
Oh yeah, get current hard fork version greater than 6, greater or equal to 6. Yep. So that was just a fix for the pools. I don't think it's not going to speed anything up on the network as far as finding blocks, because the power the difference between where the ASICs were on the network and where we're at now with just GPUs. So in the meantime, Electroneum has decided to do a giveaway to pool owners as incentives for finding blocks. Yeah, so I think they're giving away something like $50,000. Electroneum.
Yeah,
so about like $20, right?
Yeah, sure. Because
so you're saying like $20? Cool, man.
So here it is for they're offering from block
$1,000.
307,501 to 307,527. So they think like after that many blocks, the network, I guess, should start catching up. So if you mine, I'm not sure how they word this, but for the first block, so like 150,000 ETN bonus. The second one is an award for 100,000 ETN and then 50,000 ETN.
Yeah, can we get that in Ethereum?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a mess. They're
It's like
I don't think they anticipated the lag that there was going to be.
Yeah, I seen their Facebook was pretty lit up with some people venting.
Yeah, and not only that, but all the miners have to change the software they're running to accept the new version 7. So, yep, that's another pain. I think so. As a pool operator myself, I think I lost probably 150 or so miners just in one day. So,
jeez.
yep.
I have
it's not very profitable to keep mining.
No, not now until it catches back up. But the difficulty, once it does catch back up, should be, I would assume, half of what it was before, without the ASICs on the network. So we should be back. Now, of course, it's not worth too much right now, but we should be back to, people being able to mine from their laptops and stuff like that, which is what got a lot of people into Electroneum in the first place because of the Monero fork. So,
Sure.
All right, so I have a quick update. This is actually, sorry guys, this isn't in our show notes, but it's an update from one of the stories we had last week. I was, as you guys were chatting about Electroneum, I was kind of quickly browsing through Twitter and noticed the story about the Taylor thing. Remember the Taylor hack last week? We talked about them,
Yeah.
and they lost basically like 2,578 Ethereum, which roughly equals like $1.5 million, right? So last week we didn't know what happened and what the root cause was, and we were kind of like debating a little bit about insider, like that kind of stuff.
Conspiracy,
yeah. So anyways, there's an update to that, and apparently it was somebody compromised one of their 1Password databases. So they say somehow the hacker got access to one of our devices and took control of one of our 1Password files.
Knew they shouldn't have used Spring 2018.
That's the worst password. That's an interesting attack. So 1Password doesn't really necessarily have two-factor, but they have like a or not a token, but it's like a unique
key.
ID.
Yeah, it's
right?
a master key.
Yeah, it's a master key, and then on top of the password, right? So it's kind of like 1.5 factors, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how you like to call out, a factor.
It's really like
but,
if you were to print out one of your like Google like backup codes, that's pretty much what it is. Like just one of those. They use all the time.
Just one. But it's a little bit longer than But okay, so the whole point of it though, the whole point is that like if somebody were to get your password and they were to try to log into your account or whatever, they would still need that master key, right? So you kind of need one other item. But if they were on their system itself, all they had to do was wait for that 1Password to be opened. But the thing is that 1Password does kind of have a sane lockout. So I'm not sure where they got that, but I mean, keylogged too, right? I mean, do you really need to be on the 1Password if I keylogged your system? But
Do people still keylog?
I do.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just raining creds, man.
I don't know. Maybe
Especially if I'm
No, Mike.
especially if I'm
I know why you
targeting,
said
like,
that.
Linux-
I know why you said
Linux
that, Mike.
admins, yeah.
Mike, you and I deal on very short engagements, and keylogging usually isn't the most ideal thing we can do because it takes we don't have all day to sit around and like wait for creds to show up. But
Well, so
but somebody who
that makes sense.
somebody who gets access to, like, if I fish somebody who I know is like like somebody who's like the owner or like a member of a high up like person in like some cryptocurrency company, sure as hell I'd keylog them because they're going to open their freaking 1Password database and I'll have access to all their creds.
Well, I could see that. Like I could totally see it from that attack perspective. I guess my question was kind of around what you just said. We are on short engagements, and I just don't. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna.
I was going to say there's another really good scenario besides getting a credential, which sometimes can be hit or miss, but not for like their login. You're going to see that because they're going to lock their computer and then you'll get it. But either way, the other big one is just getting situational awareness. Like, what are they doing? Who are they talking to? So on and so forth, right? If you compromise the right workstation, there could be a lot of intelligence there.
Sure.
You're kind of getting in between all of that communication or entering of code or whatever it may be. So there's a ton. I was
on an engagement one time and I was keylogging somebody and they straight up like went to haveibeenpwned.com and typed in their email address to see if they'd been
You have, but I didn't leak it.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely do it.
Okay, that's valid. I guess I don't know. I remember like keylogging back in 1999 with like NetBus, and like I was not allowed to go to my girlfriend's house, and so I like Trojaned her computer to make her mom call me to help her fix her computer. Yeah.
So this is your
true love
story. Now he's not allowed to keylog anymore. That's the moral of this story.
Yeah. So he's
And now I'm married to her best friend.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
True story.
Well, that's what happens.
All
Yeah,
right.
I guess it does sound not that fun, but it's useful. So.
All right, next story. 2 Canadian banks hacked on the same day. So CIBC owned Simply Financial was the first to announce on this previous Monday that hackers had accessed and stolen the personal information of 40,000 customers, which is not terribly that much. But later the same day, the Bank of Montreal also announced that they had an issue and the information of 50,000 customers was stolen. In both cases, the hackers were also the people who let the banks know that the crime happened. And the whole point of these hackers hacking these banks was to blackmail them into sending them $1 million worth of Ripple XRP. So they hacked some banks, didn't care about the dollars they had, and decided to actually try to get XRP from them.
It's because you could rob a bank for $1 million and it'll be traced back to you, or you could rob a bank of their data and force them to give you an anonymous transaction of some other sort of money and walk away with it. That's not.
I hate to be like the bad idea guy, but that's kind of brilliant.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, I just wonder why they chose Ripple.
I thought the same thing.
Like, why would you choose an ERC20 token? Why not something more untraceable?
Yeah, like
At least they left.
At
least they tipped him off. At least they tipped him off.
Jeez. No, so this article actually had a couple interesting other points in it. So one interesting thing was that apparently since 2017, so I don't know how, I haven't actually like checked the statement or not. But apparently since 2017, there's been an estimated $1.2 billion stolen in cryptocurrency. 1.2 billion since 2017. So like literally, I mean, does that mean like the beginning of 2017 or does that mean like starting like 2018? Like in the past, 5 months?
It says start. I've linked back, so I went up another article from that one you were on, and it says that it was the start of 2017.
Okay, so I mean, still though, right? Like, let's say a year and a half, right? In a year and a half, $1.2 billion stolen in cryptocurrency. What bank has had nearly that much stolen from them?
Right.
That's valid.
That's a lot of money. So the other point I thought was interesting about this article, and again, like I haven't validated this. I'm not from Canada, so if you're Canadian and you're listening to this, don't hate on us. This is from an article we're reading, and I will post it in the show notes, and you can read it for yourself. So, all right, this is a paragraph from this article. It says that netizens from Twitter responded to the news by tweeting that Canadian banks are weak on security, requiring only 5-digit PINs with no special characters and not offering 2-layer authentication. As the use of digital currency becomes more prevalent all around the world, instances of hackers and cybercriminals targeting weak security points will continue to grow. So, is Canada Canada that bad at security? I mean,
I could tell you just from the technical, my technical experience with Canadians, they are leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of different micro industries and technology.
Okay.
Like the Canadian forensics teams, the technical forensics teams are like the best. It's crazy. So I've never came across a Canadian that was technical that was not blowing my mind. So I don't know from the security side, but I can tell you just from the DFIR side.
Well, now this is saying weak on security, so it sounds like they're referring to like a personal bank account login,
yes.
not like the bank's security itself.
Right, but you would assume that like if they're you would think like if they're awesome at forensics and stuff and security, like as practice, right? Like as a security practitioner, that they would be implementing that stuff into their banking systems.
Yeah,
it's the executive staff. They're pushing back. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
I want local admin.
Yeah,
I need local admin. You need me in this office. You want me in this office.
Anyways, anything else to add to that story, guys? Are we moving on?
Don't rob bank.
Don't bank in Canada.
Yeah. You're Canadian, you have no choice, but otherwise, don't do it. I don't know where to go with that.
If you rob a bank, don't actually take the cash. Just hold them ransom for actual
more
cryptocurrency. Yeah.
And that was Bo that said that.
No.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Just clarifying. It's on the record.
Yeah.
Do not go and rob a bank. I will make that statement. Absolutely do not rob any banks. All right. So the next thing isn't really like story, but somebody actually did an analysis of how much it would cost to perform a 51% attack against given cryptocurrency. And I thought this was fascinating. So the 51% attack idea comes around the hash rate, right? So you have the miners that are mining cryptocurrency and they're helping validate transactions. And if any given miner were to gain enough hash rate to control 51%, they could do things like reverse transactions and cause like double payment, double spending attacks and that kind of stuff. So somebody decided to kind of like calculate how much would it cost to buy enough mining power to carry out some of like the 51% attacks. And it's kind of hilarious at how cheap it is to actually carry out attacks against a lot of these major points.
I don't know. There's a little bit of math that has to go on in here. So this is talking about a 1-hour attack cost. So now, how many hours does it take for a validation on the blockchain for that to be? So you have to do a certain amount of hours for each one.
It's how many blocks before it's a valid, valid transaction? And then, it could be like minutes, right?
Could be, yeah.
Could, depending on, like 20, or, sometimes it'd be like 50 blocks, but like every block's a minute, or not minute, but like every block's like, 30 seconds or something. But usually it's not even that high. So, but some of these coins, like Cat Coin, for example, dude, it says $0.
Oh yeah, like I was mining a coin the other day, and I swear, just with a few GPUs, I had like 70% of the network because nobody else is mining that crappy coin that I decided I found and wanted some of it.
So the bigger question is if you can like reverse the transactions of cat coin, which is like probably worth just about nothing. Like what would happen? Like you would stop the whole flow of cat coins and like, I mean, but it does become a lot more realistic when we start looking at some of the other stuff like, Bitcoin private, man, it wouldn't be that hard. $700 for an hour attack. That's not with nice hash. So,
That's insane.
I know it is. I agree.
Mhm.
There's Z Classic, $4,000.
Look at
Well,
Dogecoin, 55 grand per hour.
Dogecoin, and that's the one that was supposed to be made as a joke.
I know.
Yeah, and if you look at like so, Bitcoin Gold is the big story from last week. Remember, we had the huge story about the 51% attack against Bitcoin Gold last week. So the Bitcoin Gold's listed on here is $3,770 per hour.
Yeah, and I think the thing about that is like it's like you could do it so easy on nice hash.
248%. Yeah.
Look at Bitcoin private, $717.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin private is like the number 5 cryptocurrency, or it's getting up there. 40, sorry, it's the number 40.
But it just doesn't have that many miners really going at it. So I mean, it's
So
$700.
what is this nice hashable? Like, what does that mean?
So you can go on to nice hash and you can buy with Bitcoin hashing power from other users.
Okay.
So that's just saying, so you could do that.
So you're basically saying, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't
And that's where they get the price.
I'm actually a little confused with that number because, like, all right, so like, is that saying like if I were to perform a 51% attack, like look at Bitcoin, right? So it says I could get 2% nice hashable, right?
Yeah. So I think if you spent that much, like you could only get 2% of the network on nice hash.
So what the hell does 248% mean on Bitcoin Gold?
That means like if you spent that much on nice hash, like you get 3 times the reward probably.
Wow. That's insane.
So just so the listeners know, it's the website that we're on is crypto51.app, app. And I don't think we really explained what we're looking at. It has the coin, the market cap for the coin, the algorithm that you can mine with, the hash rate that it would take to do a 51% attack, and then the cost of 1 hour hash rate, I guess, is how this is for that specific coin. And so it's just a big table of all the different coins and kind of outlining it. It's kind of interesting, actually. It almost makes you wonder, like, if this information was readily available and the 51% attack from last week, I mean, if you're looking at it based on what we're looking at, these numbers, I mean, the ability to pick a currency, I mean, I would pick probably that one. I mean, look how it was. How much was it? $3,000 or something per hour?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's the number 20 something.
Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't pick the ones above it, right? Because Zcash obviously is going to be $51,000 an hour. Not going to work. I mean, Bytecoin might be a good one. It has a pretty good market cap too, over $1 billion market cap.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the technical part of a 51% attack. So once you are mining that much, then how do you actually, or once you have that much, then how do you actually control the network? How do you then tell the network to do something for you because you have control of it?
So what you do is you make a transaction to an exchange, and then you transfer out of that wallet to another wallet that you can control. So that way you get basically double spend, and then you could just transfer it from the exchange the same way the other guy did it, right? Or the other people did it. Yeah. So as long as you could do a transfer on an exchange for one of these. I'd also wonder how the transaction times are on Bitcoin Gold. I mean, I know it's last week's story, but looking at this data now makes me wonder why did they pick that specific one? I mean, looking at the comparisons of all these other hash rates and all of these other costs per attack, they chose that one specifically. Was it because of their ability to get it out of an exchange quickly? Because that might be an interesting way of looking at prospective currencies or coins that would be in the limelight for a 51% attack from an attacker perspective.
So I'm seeing a couple posts from about 5 months ago that are talking about between 30 minutes to an hour for a transaction to go through.
Yeah, it depends on the exchange, but and how many blocks they want, right? So you just say, let's say they want 30 blocks and it's, 2 minutes a block, then you can kind of get your times, right? So, but I think one of the remediations was wait more blocks before it's considered valid.
Right,
So.
and I guess, and in last week's story, it wasn't so much that they bought a bunch of hash rate; it was that they were manipulating the algorithms so that they could control only a portion of the algorithms, which meant that the difficulty went way down, so the hash rate wasn't needing to be as high as it was.
Yep.
Cool. All right. The next story. This is more of like a oh my god. Like this is more like a public service. I think story is this is a story about a guy who threw away $60 million worth of Bitcoin. And I think this is more of like a backup your shit kind of story. So it starts out talking about a guy who died in April, and his family was unable to locate his password needed to retrieve his fortune that was said to have been worth as much as $1 billion in XRP.
So this actually has been brought up over and over again, but the bigger thing is, having a plan for, if you do have a lot of currency, how other people are going to get access to it if you do happen to pass away, right? I can literally just hear my wife getting closer to the door, trying to listen in to see if I'm going to say what the plan is, right? But I mean, seriously though, I mean, everyone probably should be, including myself, either at least having some kind of plan on how that your family members can get access to something like cryptocurrency, right? Because it's not like a bank. So.
Sure. Yeah. And then the other part of it was that the guy had 2 hard drives and he picked the wrong one to throw away. One had the Bitcoin private keys on it, one didn't.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's sad. You know what? Honestly, the biggest thing that made me happy about this story was I scrolled down and I saw a picture from Silicon Valley, and I haven't seen this episode yet. But I have to go see this episode because, I mean, it's awesome. Apparently on the show Silicon Valley, they went to a local dump on a mission to find a mistakenly discarded thumb drive that contained a code needed to retrieve $300 million in Bitcoin.
Yeah. That's where I would be if this happened.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty funny. I actually saw the episode and they're running through the just pillaging through the trash, but then they're paying other people to do it. Just all these other people are out there just looking through the trash for this. It's pretty funny though.
Yeah, do the same thing for sure.
So I remember a couple years back. I mean, it's been a little while now, but actually it's been a while now. Dang, today's 2018. I remember trying to mine with my computer back in the day, when Bitcoin was the only thing, and installing everything and setting it up and running. And I didn't know really what I was doing.
You probably had a block back then.
I doubt it, but I still have my hard drives. This made me think about that. I actually went in my closet and because every time I upgrade my computer or install some new operating system, I just go buy a new hard drive and then I throw the hard drive in a box in my closet. So I have a box slap full of laptop hard drives, desktop hard drives. Yeah, sure, but I don't want them. But it makes me want to go through there to see if I could find the hard drive where I did that. I guarantee I didn't have any mine blocks, but it would still be interesting just to go back through that stuff to see. It made me think of that though when I read this article.
Definitely. All right, last thing is more of kind of an interesting announcement, I guess. Steve, I don't know if you want to talk about it because you're the one who found it, so I think it's interesting.
Oh, for the DEF CON?
Yeah.
So, yeah, DEF CON is going to have a big cryptocurrency village now. They're calling the Monero project and BCOS village. I think it's blockchain and cryptocurrency security is what BCOS stands for. So it's a gathering for all Monero project supporters and enthusiasts, but not just for Monero. I mean, it's for other stuff too. So I'm hoping there'll be some good talks there. Maybe.
Yeah, he submitted us for a talk, but he's
maybe
not
I'll submit
there.
it. Yeah,
He won't be there. He won't be there. No,
Hey, the last one went well, so.
So yeah, they'll have talks, workshops, live demos of some cool wallets and gadgets and contests.
Nice.
So pretty cool that it's becoming part of the industry now. So
It's official. It's at DEF CON.
yeah, it's at DEF CON. It's
man.
official.
Awesome.
So blockchain is not going away.
How many Lambos are going to be parked at DEF CON this year?
Tons of them.
Oh yeah, all rented.
All rented. They're by the hour. Come on, man. You rent your miners, right? I mean,
We'll get a CoinSec podcast, like one of those things that you can slap on the car.
the magnets.
The magnets on the side of the car. Yeah, we'll just drive around in a Lambo.
Let's just buy a bunch of them, bring them, and then just put them on all the Lambos we see.
Yes, other people's
Yeah.
Lambos just
Yeah.
everywhere.
Let's
I mean,
totally
they're
do
just
it.
magnets. They're not gonna mess them up, so I wouldn't feel bad. I mean, free advertisement.
I wonder if we could rent a Lambo and just like fake it.
Yeah, you can.
Lambo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vegas
Totally
is
can.
huge for that. Yeah.
Yes, royalty exotic car rentals. There we go.
There it
We're
is.
gonna rent. We're gonna rent one. Put our McAfee. I mean, our CoinSec podcast magnets on it.
On that note, we should probably wrap this up, guys. It's been a fun episode. Always a pleasure to have you guys join me. Make sure if you're listening this far in, you know what? Might as well follow us on Twitter. I mean, we can retweet stuff that might be interesting to you. There's other things that we talk about. Might see blog posts. Maybe like a random retweet here and there that might end up on the show. Keep an eye on our website, coinsecpodcast.com, for links from this show. Because we keep like a little doc going, a little doc that has all our stories on it, and that's kind of what we walk through, and we give that all to you if you want to actually like read the stuff that we're talking about and don't actually trust what we're saying.
We're all hackers. Don't trust us.
Exactly. Don't trust me.
Go subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app, and if you like the show, leave us a review. We will catch you next week. I'm going to be on vacation, so I don't know. I might show up, might not. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
So we'll catch you next week. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a good weekend.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right. See you.